we're going to wait just a few more minutes. We are our third session into Parenting Live Q&A. If you're joining us for the first time or you're joining us at all, be sure to hit that like button so that I know that you're there. I'm excited you've decided to join us tonight, and hopefully you'll begin to look forward to this. We've got some really good questions tonight. We're going to be talking about body image when it comes to our daughters. I had a really good question about that. Teenagers, jobs, money, that kind of thing. And another good helpful tip for the summer. So we're going to wait just a few more minutes and then we'll get things started. If you have a question, be sure to just type it in there, and if I have a chance, I'll be certainly happy to get to that. If not, we will catch you next week. So we're going to wait just a few more minutes here. I got to tell you, the behind the scenes here, trying to get set up, probably a lot more entertaining than the Q&A. So I hate you missed that, but grateful that it's just me as well. That's what they call dead air. We're just going to wait just a second. Those of you that maybe don't know me, haven't heard me speak before, never met me, I thought, you know what, maybe I should fill people in a little bit. I am not PC, shall we say. I am not your average. I did have a woman tell me one time, she said, you don't say things that most women say. You don't say the things that we normally hear when we come to stuff like this. So I believe in telling it like it is. Don't sugarcoat it. It is what it is, and you know, it's real life, and we do a great injustice when we deliver anything else, when we expect anything less, and yeah, let's just have fun with it. Life is too short to be so serious and caught up and high-strung and full of drama. So I believe in just having fun with it, going with it, and it'll be what it'll be. If you love it, great. Tune in, invite a friend. If you don't, you know what? That's okay too. All right. Here we go. So I've got some notes here, so I want to make sure I get everybody's question just right. So forgive me just a little bit. The question that I got last week was about body image with a 5-year-old, and at what point do we begin to talk to our daughters, especially, about their bodies and how they, you know, think about themselves and carry themselves, and you know, those kinds of things. And this is a 5-year-old little girl, and she, you know, began to feel a little self-conscious in her dance leotard, because apparently the little boy had, you know, poked at her belly, and, you know, she, you know, the mother had never commented on her body one way or the other, never talked about her own body kind of thing, you know, in a negative way. So she was just really concerned, you know, that was something that she expected at maybe 13, not necessarily 5 years old. And so hence we have a little girl, and she's sad. She doesn't want to put on her leotard and go to dance and things like that. So obviously this mother's concerned about, you know, at what point does she begin to address that? So that's what we're going to talk about. First things first, kids can be big, fat, stupid meanie heads sometimes. And so can adults. I know a lot of big, fat, stupid meanie head adults. So that's one thing that we've got to deal with. And in this day and age, and I've seen a tremendous amount of this on Facebook lately, and it just irks me, and I have to really, you know, self-control not to get involved where I'm not asked. But we are so quick to jump into any situation that our children are made to feel uncomfortable around, if they are experiencing emotional distress, if, you know, someone says something to our child that upsets them. Here's the thing. That is real life. Those episodes are not going to be a select few. That is going to continue. That continues in our lives as adults. So instead of focusing, and we tend to get caught up in the moment of things, and we want to defend our child and, you know, avenge the situation, and, you know, the whole kind of thing, and that's not right, and, you know, everybody weighs in, and we don't always have the facts and things like that. And the truth of the matter is, children are very sensitive, and they are very receptive, and sometimes they take, you know, we don't really want to get into it all, you know, right away with them, because it's not, you know, necessarily different burdens that we want to put on our children. So what we would need to focus on is, you know, forward thinking. What do we want for our children? What kind of attitude do we want them to have as adults? I see my daughter peeking in. She's trying to get me. What kind of attitude do we want them to have? How do we want them to perceive the world? How do we want them to deal with those kinds of situations when they come about. And it's not selective just to body image. It's, a whole host of different things. So it's not necessarily that particular instance. It's when someone says something hurtful, how do we teach our children to handle it? How do they perceive the way we handle those kinds of situations? When you're sitting around the dinner table, when you're riding in your car, when you're picking them up from school, when you're driving in traffic, anything that you're doing when you're around friends, church, whatever, when things come about that upset you, how do your children see you handle those things? How do they see you respond? Is it high drama? Is it constructive? Is it negative language about the person that's offended you in some kind of way? Or is it positive? Is it, maybe they were having a bad day kind of thing. Maybe, something, and we'll talk about it, we'll work through it kind of thing. Or, it's just, that's what they're learning to do. So that's how we need to teach them to handle situations like that. Do we go in guns blazing, your son poked my child in the belly, and they won't wear their leotard anymore, and they're being such a bully? Does that solve the situation, or does that just make us feel better? Do we do that sometimes because we don't know what else to do, and that's just the easiest thing for us, and, we feel like we get a lot more support that way? I don't recommend handling situations like that, and oftentimes we are so quick to jump to the extreme emotion of any situation. Kids are going to pick on other children. That is from the beginning of time and will always be. They're big, fat, stupid meatheads sometimes, and they are trying to get everything under control, and a child's actions are dictated by their thoughts and emotions. So as parents, as teachers, as coaches, we are equally disciplining and guiding the way that they think about things. It's not just the action. The action comes out of the emotion and the thought and the way these children. And a child that does these things that harm our children, whether it's body image or not, whatever the situation may be, we don't know what they are coming from. We don't know, what's been, it could be just, they're acting something out. As a kindergarten teacher, I can tell you many, many times that I could tell exactly what was going on in a household based on the way that the children were playing in the housekeeping center, or the play they were playing in the block center, or, whatever. And it's because they're trying to process what they hear, what they see, what they go through. And, a lot of times we want to jump on, and we're not even giving children a chance to develop and work through all those situations, because we're jumping and we're adding these adult characteristics to children who haven't had a chance to fully develop and grow yet. So when it comes to our children, yes, you need to protect your children, yes, but you are not going to keep them from every upsetting situation. So when it comes to something big like that, at 5 years old, do we need to launch into, your body image and the healthy and this? Do we need to focus so much on that? Do we need to, really get into that? No, it needs to be more about, obviously, this child is responding to the way another person made her feel. And so that is always going to be an issue, whether it's, her tummy or anything else. So how does she respond to that? What are the key elements? What are the tools we are giving her to empower her to be able to deal with situations like that? This also goes along the lines of when a child asks you a question, things like that. Sometimes we are very quick to jump into a full-blown explanation. This happens a lot when kids ask questions that center around things of a sexual nature. We feel like we have to just give them the full, the whole enchilada, as we would say. Not true. Just answer what your children ask. They are working through, they are processing it, they are, going through all these things. They will come to you when they're ready for the next part. They will, once they've had a chance to think that through, then they will come to you and they will say, okay, now what about this? Okay. And you just answer what they ask. Don't fluff it. Don't be honest, but just be honest. Don't beat around the bush. Answer what they ask and move on. Give them what they need to work through it. They know what they're ready for. They can't verbalize it the same way you and I do, but they know what they're ready for. So give them tools. In this same situation, give her tools. You know what? I can tell he made you feel yucky that way. I can tell that really hurt your feelings, but you are so cute in that leotard and you're going to do a great job. And if he does something like that bothers you, or if anybody says anything ugly, you let them know that really hurts your feelings. on and on, whatever your verbiage is, whatever your conversation is, that's what we do. We give them those tools and we keep on. Do we throw in the towel? Well, she's so upset. We can't, and this is true for anything, whether it's dance, whether it's ball, whether it's school, whether it's whatever. So if somebody makes it, well, but they just made them upset and we're just not going to do that anymore. I'm not going to force them into that. There's just when we feed into that, it makes the situation worse when we do that. There's a huge difference between bullying and children being big, fat, meanie, stupid hits. Those instances are going to happen. And you don't know what's going on in the other child's life either. So equip them, give them tools. I use this example all the time, as far as giving our children what they need to be able to work these situations out. You are preparing them for real life, not just life in your home, not just life on the ball field or in the dance studio or, in the classroom. If a child is very, very picky and, they don't want to eat certain things, and that's a whole nother host of issues. If you don't take them to McDonald's when they're 2 years old, they won't be picky. If you don't fix some chicken nuggets every time you fix a meal, they won't be picky, but whatever, we're not going to get in that tonight. But if they don't like something and they're in someone else's home, you don't want them to, I don't like that, I don't want to eat that kind of thing, because those aren't very good manners. It's not very nice to say to someone else, and it's disrespectful to the person that's prepared the meal. So what do you say? No, thank you, but it looks delicious. No, thank you, but it looks delicious. No, thank you, I don't want any, but it looks delicious. Thank you for taking your time to prepare it. Someone else may like it. Just because I don't doesn't mean someone else. It's all about doing what's best for the other person, teaching your child respect. Part of this, if we're going to go back to the original question about body image, having a healthy body image, having a healthy self-respect starts with the way that we treat other people, the way that we conduct ourselves, the way that we view what's going on around us. So we so often skip the part about how we're processing this intellectually and emotionally, and we skip right to, what they're doing, what the action is. And that's why so many parents say so frustrated, because they just want to focus on, they won't put their shoes on, they won't get in the car, they won't, get up when I call them the first time, they won't listen and we're just focused, we're just trying to make it through the day. Make it through the moment a lot of times, and you're not seeing the bigger picture. So you got to be more broad in your thought process and your point of view and your attitude and what you really want your child to gain from life spent with you, these few short years spent with you, and as that translates into a lifetime as an adult, and what they'll do, because these early years, as cliche as it is, those are the most important. And that's where we jump in and teach them how to think about the world around them and the people around them and what's going on. So think about that. If you have further questions on that, or I didn't quite answer your question, let me know. We'll talk it through. I don't mind talking. I like talking. The next thing is teens, and this summer, and jobs and working, and that can be any time of the year. They need to be working. They need to be off their behinds. They need to be working. They need to have a job. They need to be contributing in some kind of way. It needs to be, thank you so much. Like I said last week, it needs to be either a contribution around the home, out in the world, let them go get a job, it's fine. But here's the thing with that. You need to stay out of it. You need to let them go do that on their own. You cannot be, and I want to keep saying it all the time, Mommy and Daddy are not going to be there all the time. But you know what the sad part is too many mommies and daddies are there all the time. And I've shared this in a number of events and classes and things like that. There are major corporations across this country that have policies in place that prevent or discourage or forbid parents from intervening on the interview, the hiring, the employment process. So why? I can't imagine my parents, my grandparents ever getting involved in a situation where I worked. And I did work for my parents for a number of years, but I also worked for other people, and never did they get involved. That was my responsibility. That was my job. That was, yeah, I don't understand that. So your children need to go work, but they need to go do that. You don't need to be talking to the boss on their behalf. You don't need to be letting them know. No, they need to open their mouths. They need to stand up. They need to make eye contact. Teach them how to have a firm handshake so they can go out in this world and they can be responsible. They are not going to be contributing members of society as long as someone's holding their hand. And while you are that involved in your child's life, you should be that involved in your own marriage. In your if you're a single parent, the things that you've got to start stepping away. And when your children get involved in this world outside of your home, you need to allow them to do that, because not only are you driving the employer nuts and everyone that has to deal with that child, that teenager, that young adult, you are also saying to that child, I think you are a rocket scientist, genius. You got all the awards on the stage and mommy's so proud of you. She took a picture. She shared it all over Facebook. But baby, you need me to do this for you. You need me to go and talk to your employer because you can't handle it. You're not that smart. Let them be. Let them be. You breed this resentment from your children when you don't let them handle the situations. You are telling them that they are incapable of doing that, and they are more than capable. Our children are far more capable of doing things at such an earlier age than most of us let them do. So when it comes to this, let them go out, let them get a job, let them experience that. Let them be responsible. If you have a family vacation coming up, telling the boss, hey, you know what, I have these dates coming up, am I going to be able to have off? And if they say no, does that mean your child quits the job? Do you quit your job if your boss tells you you can't have time off? Ideally, you ask if those dates are available before you plan something. That's a responsible thing to do. Do emergencies come up? Absolutely. And most bosses are, employers are very willing to work with you on that if you have not taken advantage of the system. So, again, not PC. I'm not going to say it, sugarcoat it kind of thing. And I have been an employer and I have been on the other side of that. So I can completely appreciate, that relationship between employee and employer from both sides. Your child needs to be able to navigate those waters, and you need to allow them to do so. Don't be so over-involved. Help them out. Give them the tools that they need. I recently had a friend share with me that, she had someone all lined up, a teenager lined up to watch her children do some babysitting over the summer for her. And, the week before she's supposed to start, she decided she wanted to do something else. My first response was, why did her parents let her do that? Why did they not say, no, you've made a commitment here? That's where you need to be involved. That's where you want to say, be that, whatever. Don't get over involved and not letting them handle it, but say, no, you made a commitment. That's where you need to push them and encourage them. You need to honor the commitment that you've made. We lack major commitment in this world. We lack major commitment in this country. We lack major commitment in a lot of our homes. So we need to start with this generation and getting them to understand how important commitment is. We are not going to like every single thing that we do. We're not going to love it all. But that's life. That's what you do. And great joy can come out of situations that we think might be a little terrifying at first, a little scary, maybe not something we really wanted to do. But there's joy to be had in it all. So that's what we need to be teaching our children. That's what we need to push them as far as it goes. Now, once they get out there and they start making a little bit of money, what are we teaching them to do with that money? And a lot of times I hear from parents, well, it's their money, they made it, so they should be able to spend it however they want. Negative. They're still living under your roof, so you need to guide them. You need to have some stipulations. Let's go ahead and set this up prior to. Here's the key. If you are consistent from the time they're little all the way up, these things are a lot easier to do, to carry out, to execute with your teenagers and your young adults in your home than if you just try and start, much later in life. So what are they going to do with their money? What's the expectation? What are you now going to start stepping away from and now making them be more responsible for taking care of? Are they going to have to buy, some of their clothing? Are they going to have to pay for their gas? Are they going to have to help pay for their insurance? What is it that they are going to have to do now that they are making a little bit of money? Where's their contribution going to be? Do they have to pay full room and board? No, probably not. But there needs to be some contribution. There needs to be some way that they can have real practice in being good stewards of their money. And this forward thinking notion that I keep trying to make sure I'm consistent about presenting, you know, thinking ahead. And there's a wonderful book, and I'll be sure to get you the title, about, you know, children who, you know, were able to buy their first homes because of money that they'd saved. You know, the mother speaking of her children, you know, as young adults, and able to go out there and do that because they had been fiscally responsible at an early age. Are all teenagers going to be able to do that? Absolutely not. Are all young adults going to be? Are all older adults going to be able to do that? No. But there is something to be said for being financially responsible and learning that at an early age, and as well as, you know, a good work ethic. So, you know, keep that. I would love to hear about the jobs your teenagers have this summer and things that they're doing. And if you have tips to share with that, I love getting, you know, new stories and how different parents do that, and you can have a lot of fun with that. So be sure to share those, but, you know, share with your teenager, you know, the joy that can come and what it means to put in. There we go. Okay. All right. We're almost finished. Real quick. I know I got a weak connection here. The last thing is, and I had posted this earlier in the week about school supplies. School's gotten out for most people. We're finishing up this week, whatever the case may be. Don't throw all those school supplies away. Don't feel like you have to buy brand new book bag, brand new scissors, brand new crayons, brand new colored pencils. Most of that stuff can be salvaged from year after year. So dig deep in those book bags, put it all aside, have them help do this, or if they're old enough, they can do it on their own. Get you a box, label it back to school, put all that stuff in there, and when the school list comes out, I hate the list anyway because I think they should have to do that on their own, but anyway, when it comes about and you're ready to buy new school supplies, you know, go to the things that you already have. When we're talking about teaching our children to be fiscally responsible and being good stewards of their money, we got enough waste in this world as it is. We don't need to stockpile Fiskars scissors all over the house because we need a new pair because the school year has started. That's a bunch of baloney. So it starts with us, what we do with what we have, the extra that we have, and, you know, how are we using that? Are we just keeping on? And I consider that waste. What are we doing with, you know, the clothes that they outgrow? You know, what are we, you know, do we have to sell them? Do we need to sell them? Can we give them away? What can we do? Your children are watching all of that. All of that together fits with every single topic that we've talked about tonight. So keep on keeping on. You're going to survive the summer. It's going to be a good one. I hope that I've answered your questions. I hope that you've enjoyed this evening. If you have questions, submit those. We'll be doing this every Thursday night at 8 o'clock. Be sure to invite a friend. And this summer, we're gearing up. I'll be speaking with a lot of teachers this summer. I love my teachers. They're dear and near to my heart. I do a lot of in-service training in the summer, but we'll be gearing back up for fall. We do have a marriage series on tap to begin in September, so be sure to check out happilyparenting.com. And if you'd love to have me come share with your group, have us do a series, a one-time event, marriage, parenting, whatever the case may be, you give us a call. We'll be happy to come and talk to your group. In the meantime, keep on keeping on. Have a great day, and I hope you're happily parenting. Take care.